Good morning, good evening. How are you? What you doing? Hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's been a minute. Been a minute. I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. Let's see who we got on here with us. Can y'all hear me? Been a minute. I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. Hey, Nadia. Nadia, did you get the Zoom information? Who we got on here with us? Can y'all hear me? Been a minute. I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. Hey, Nadia. Let's see, Nadia. I'm not sure. Nadia, did you get the Zoom information? Who we got on here with us? Let me see. Can y'all hear me? I'm not really sure it didn't work. I'm gonna minute. I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. Hey, Nadia. Let's see, Nadia. I'm not sure. Nadia, did you get the Zoom information? Who we got on here with us? Let me see. Can y'all hear me? All right, Nadia. So check your. I'm not really sure it didn't work. I'm gonna minute. I hope you guys are doing well, feeling well. Hey, Nadia. All right, Nadia, check your email now. Zoom information we got on here with us. No worries, Nadia. Check your email now. You should have something there. And let's see what happens. I'm not sure how that happened. Not sure how that happened, but let's see how we make it happen. Hey, girl. Now we cooking with grease. Now we cooking with grease. Now we cooking with grease.
There we go.
You look beautiful.
You do too.
Girl, thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, you're here. We're excited. We're about to talk about some money. Hey, and we cooking with grease.
You got it playing somewhere else because I hear it playing back. There we go.
You look beautiful.
You do too.
Let's see. Girl, all right. Thank you. There we go. I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, you're here. We're excited. We're about to talk about some money. Hey, can you hear me now?
I hear you, and I hear what you were just saying. I hear it playing back.
I don't know why it's playing on my computer. All right, let me see. Anyway, so y'all, we talking about money and getting our finances right tonight. We have none other than the Nadia Vanderhall with us.
Sounds very
And
formal.
huh?
The Z sounds very formal, but yeah.
Oh, because you are formal. Like, so Nadia low key gives the best information on finance, budgeting, anything you want to know to get your money together. Um and I've like we got connected through our sorority sister Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jamie connected us years ago, and I was just like so amazed because I knew you for your branding work. So we, both
Mm-hmm.
in the same space doing PR or whatever. And so I never really knew that you were also doing or that you were also a finance guru. And those are the words that Jamie used when she
That's not
connected
her
us. And
name.
so I was like, yo, word. So, and then to start following you and watch the tea that you spill every week, so I'm super excited tonight to talk to you about money. That's like literally my Achilles heel.
Mm.
Um, and it's so crazy because when I was in high school, I was the president of our what do you call it? Our applied economics
Yeah.
class. So we had our applied economics class. Every group had, or every class had their own business. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was the president of our class's business, and we made the most money of anybody that year with our business. So to think that now I don't understand and I can't figure it out, girl, you put some numbers in front of me and asked me to do a budget. I'm like, what? So I'm super excited. When we had talked about you sharing information tonight about how we, make sure that during COVID, we're preparing ourselves for whatever it looks like after COVID in terms of our finances.
Right.
And if we take advantage of some of the programs that companies have for us to delay our payments or whatever, that we make sure that we understand what that means after
Mhm.
COVID, and that we're setting ourselves up for success. But also, like, how do you build a business during this time? How do you use this time to really create financial wealth for you and your family? And
Mhm.
then lastly, I know we talked about stocks, purchasing split stocks and
Uh-huh.
what that means, what it looks like. So I'm gonna turn it over to you, and I'm about to be over here taking some notes, girl.
Oh Lord, COVID. I know, or how I love to call her, Rona Mae Jenkins. I have to give a name to something. Us
Yes,
in the
girl.
culture love to give names to everything. But COVID came in like or Rona came in like a thief for the night, and a lot of us were not prepared. And then you like to say, what did you just say? Like it was like finance is your Achilles heel.
Yes.
It's for a lot of us is the Achilles heel, and a lot of people didn't know that a decade ago we were dealing with the last recession. Literally, that time was finance was my Achilles heel. Then
What?
that's when it turned over for me because at that time my job got outsourced to India.
Oh.
I was kind of fresh. I think I wasn't even telling my age. I was like 25. I didn't even really like my parents instilled in me about finance, but it wasn't until you get into utilizing it as an adult that get real.
Right.
And, it got, and it got really real for me because I don't like to ask for help. My mom could tell you that now. But when I learned about money when I didn't have it. A
Mm.
lot of people are like, oh, well, I have money. But if you go back and look into school, now and even back when we were in school, they didn't really teach you about finance.
Right.
Like, what did algebra have to do with being audited by the IRS?
Oh, that got something to do with it?
No.
Oh. I was
So
up in
that's
here
what they
thinking
see
something.
that you was getting scared. Don't get scared.
Yeah, I was
But
getting.
that's what it's kind of like. You here to have a budget, you here to have a savings, but until you get pushed into the water, is for some, it's like that's when it actually clicks for us. So with Rona, we nobody seen it. Companies started laying off or furloughing people left and right, and a lot of people were placed on. I think I had someone reach out to me. They had been waiting for their unemployment check for at least 2 months.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I got one better than that. My sister had been waiting on hers for like 6. Yes.
because you have to think back to the unemployment system was even outdated when I was going through it a decade ago, and they haven't really updated it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like people have been trying to figure out what programs to help keep them afloat, from credit card companies to banks and everything like that. And the reason why I know about a lot of this is because when I worked for a popular bank here, I'm not gonna call their name because they're not paying me no more. When I work, let's say the one that's not in the news for something bad. So when I worked there, and I think that was going through, it was a hurricane at the time, and they had all these programs saying, hey, if you can't make your payment right now, we can defer it 90 days. And I started seeing other companies starting to roll that out during Rona, which has been good. But it's a lot of things that's getting ready to shift because a lot of companies are coming out of that furlough period.
Yeah, they are.
A lot. And within that, what do you do after you get that whole pause? A lot of people weren't able to save anything during that time, and now they're trying to figure out what to do. So for certain accounts, such as your a car loan or anything like that, lucky for you, if this is for anyone, it is going to be rolled to the back of your loan.
Okay. So
But
if during COVID,
or
you
a catastrophic event,
or any so that's any catastrophic event, it rolls to the back of the loan.
You have it within, depending on the type of loan and your creditor, it's like a clause in there. Sometimes it's attached to a gap account. Sometimes it's not. But if you call something happens, you lose your job, you go and call them, state your situation, ask what options you have. Mm-hmm. Then when you ask what options you have them mail that team to you. The reason why I say that is because it's coming for them. You have it in documentation. So if anything goes awry, you got CYA.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So okay. a lot of people are now with, I was able to defer all of this to the back or defer it. And now certain companies have fees. Certain companies have interest. So what the hell do you do? So my whole theory is for you to look and see what do you have now? Meaning, have you been looking at your budget? Have you made your budget? Have you actually have anything in savings to go and make payments to whatever is coming your way? If not, I would suggest you call that creditor before your lapse ends. Don't wait till after. No. You call before your lapse ends to make some kind of agreement and say, I know that we said this. I want to stay a loyal customer to you, or I want to honor our agreement. So can you please give me other options so I would not get lapsed at any time? The reason why I'm saying that is because certain things that you may have is tied to your credit. And this ain't the time for your credit to be slack. So checking to see what were you able to put into a forbearance or a pause? When does it end? Can you make payments towards that? If not, contact them before you go into that period.
So let me make sure I understand. So let's say, with you said with car loans, generally, they tack it onto the back of your loan. So what about, so they tack it onto the back of the loan, but what about if it's a mortgage or something like that?
See, this is what's interesting for people right now. If you're a renter, look into programs that are in your state or your city that will help you catch up if you're behind.
Okay.
Because I know North Carolina just rolled out something. My boy Roy, that's why I call Roy Cooper, just rolled out a lot of incentives and programs that are going to help renters, because renters really have no kind of.
Right. So where can you go to kind of find that information? Is there a particular, like for North Carolina, you said your boy Roy just wrote something out. So do I go look on the governor's website? Is it the Secretary of State? Do I just Google?
Whatever you Google, though, make sure it's coming from a reputable site. Why? Scammers are out there right now. Okay. It's even a big scam going on with Social Security.
Oh God, what kind of Social Security scam?
What is the automated thing someone told me? Is that, your Social Security number was compromised. So you have to call.
I got that call. I did. And I was like, this is not real. But I did. I got that call.
A lot of people are getting it.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. What I would suggest is that you Google the state you're in, renter assistance.
Okay.
Renters assistance, because it's a lot of states and I can't correlate, but that's what I would do.
Right.
Even, and I think, yeah, with the one for North Carolina, he has it for not only renters, but also for your utilities.
So, okay. So for your utility. So yeah. So
That's
Google
the one
your
I'm scared
state.
about for a lot of people.
Yeah, utilities. People get their utilities cut off. So, okay, going back. So, go and find out what programs are available in your state
Mhm,
based for your situation, whether it's mortgage, car loan, utilities, whatever it is.
mhm.
Make sure you also, so you have that knowledge when you are talking to your creditors. So, I would say that's step one.
Right.
Make sure you understand what those programs are. Then
Mhm.
you go to step two, which is actually calling your creditors and having a conversation and saying, yo, I need a little bit of assistance. What kind of programs? You tell them your situation, ask for what kind of programs they offer. And then once you have that solidified, if you know that you're not going to be able to start making payments when you agree, then call
Mhm.
prior to that to negotiate something else.
Call
But
before that lapse ends.
yes, before that ends, and making sure that you're saving some money or paying toward that during that lapse period. So the lapse period shouldn't be used as a time to just not pay anything or not prepare.
Not
You should be
prepare.
preparing during that time to
Mhm.
restart payment or to be, and also to pay something so that when you get to the end, you'll
Mhm.
know. Um,
Yeah, because a lot of people have been getting letters from their student loan creditors saying, not
um,
December, like they say, winter is coming. So within that, with our friends on the hill not coming up with anything to help bury us or help us get out of that, a lot of people are starting to see that their student loans are due. Grateful though, any insurance, not any interest, sorry, that you could have occurred during that pause period, you're not going to see that.
right. So you're not going to see the interest, but that
Mhm,
doesn't stop the fact that the payments due. So I'll say this: I know for most
mhm.
mortgagers are asking mortgagors. I can't get the
We
word
know
out,
what
but
you mean.
they're asking you to pay your balance in full when you come out of that lapse. So
Mhm.
it's not like there's like you have to be ready to pay, or you have to understand, like you said, call before and say, look, we got to work something out because I can't make a $10,000 payment. Um,
Explain what your current to say. I'm good for giving scripts. Hey, blah blah blah. I know on this date we agreed to pausing or moving things around for this grace period. I am calling ahead to let you know the current status of my situation based upon that
mhm,
conversation we had on this date.
mhm.
Dates are kind of like your CYA. So even
Right,
if I
right,
hate to say this, even if you forget, make but
right,
so it makes it look like you actually care about what's going on with
right.
the life of the care of what your account is. So that's what I would say. You call and say, hey, I know this is what we agreed to on this date, the amount of money, but can I give you an update on my situation to say I am currently still out of work, receiving unemployment, and give a justification on where you are financially to.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're able to explain and then ask, what options do I have about when I come out of that time lapse or
okay.
that payment lapse?
So we've talked about kind of buying yourself some time if your money's a little funny.
Right.
So what does it look like for us to use this as an opportunity to push us forward during COVID? Like, how can we start to think about generating income so that we can pay and come out of COVID on the other side?
One of the things that I love to tell people is this right here that I have came from an idea.
Mm,
Like I do marketing, I do talk about money, but I started my business based upon when I was getting laid off and I was fresh out of college, couldn't find a marketing job to save my life. I became my own boss. So I would say if I'm a long hauler, so if you hear me breathing, that's what it is. That if you was at how did I say this? Take inventory or audit of what skill sets you have.
mm-hmm,
Rather, it's the skill sets you give to your employer or the skill sets you know that you really deep down inside want to do. Whenever you figure that out, do a search. Google and God is the thing for me. Google is your best friend. And then now, if you really want to, Pinterest is your best friend now, because it's a search engine too. So what I would say is for you to take a step back, figure out what skill sets do you have, what skill sets can you get quick, and which is going to actually benefit you to be able to start up quick and cheap and to see your return quicker too. So what can you do without putting yourself out financially and out with not working? If you're working for somebody already, how can you operate your 9 to 5 and your 5 to 9?
Right. So really thinking about what you can do to generate income using your skills, the skills that you have. So do an inventory of your skills, and how do you take that and monetize those skills so that you're generating either main income if you're not employed, or supplemental income if you are employed but still are having some financial difficulties.
Right. That's what I would do, and that's how I started mine off. And then don't think you have to go grand with your business or your side hustle. Scale that thing. Just get it started. See what it costs to actually run it. That's a lot of things. That's what some people have issues with, is that they start this business, set the price for what they want to get paid for, but they don't think about how much does it cost to run your business.
So talk about that a little bit. What's the cost of running a business? Like, because I think, honestly, I have started businesses several times and had to end up going back to work because I didn't do exactly what you talked about. I didn't think about the cost for actually running the business. I self-funded the business, but I didn't think about what it looked like to get to a place where I was no longer funding the business and the business was profitable. What does that look like? What are some things that we need to do to kind of make that work?
So what you need to do to make that work is to take inventory is my word, but to see what are you trying to offer? If you're trying to offer a service or a skill set to somebody, how much does it cost for your website? It could be a one pager. Have some kind of online presence. Why? A lot of people are so glued to trying just to have social media. You do not own your social media. You own your website and your email list. MailChimp is free 99. So you can start sending emails. And also MailChimp, you can build your a web page on there.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
The web page is not like a grand one, but it's something to start. And a lot of people get so hung up on perfection. And like I said to someone today, done is better than perfect. You could always come back and change things. Because my business has done a metamorphosis over how many years? And of course, over the last 2 years.
So done is better than perfect. That's a whole word right there, Nadia. Yes.
And it's like, what are key ways do I need to communicate with my audience? So if you know that I want to be on social media, that's 0. I want to create certain stuff. Canva, I swear by Canva. Canva is what I make with everything. I have Pro, which is $12.99. You can use the free one and still put out stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's worth the investment to do Canva Pro. There's so many other options that you have with that, the stock photography, the video pieces. But I want to go back to email because I think one thing that, so we're talking about how to make the best of this time. So think about how to start, and everybody doesn't want to start their own business, right? No. So what are some other ways that we could think about leveling up during COVID if we don't want to start our own business?
It's people still getting jobs in the pandemic. It's people still getting promotions in the pandemic, getting paid in the pandemic. So if you are comfortable being a corporate entrepreneur, meaning that is your job, that is what that is you comfortable with it, you don't want to do it, I get it. So what do you need to understand is during this time, a lot of companies are work from home. So what are ways and systems that you can create to make your job easier? When you make your job easier, you make your boss's job easier. You make the company's job easier. You're adding value during this time. So you're looking and seeing, hey, we could be doing this. This is how I was able to get a $10,000 raise at one of the companies I used to work for. It's because you show the value in systems and what you add to it. Yes, it's a job description, But what are you taking beyond the job description to actually enhance what your company is going through?
So I just heard a couple of things. One, I'm trying to level up during the pandemic. I'm trying to get my money right during the pandemic. One, if I have a desire to be an entrepreneur,
I
I
think
need
that's
to
what's
take,
a lot of people's thing right now is that
yes.
they are. I'm gonna tell you why, because a lot of companies and bosses have really shown their hand during this pandemic, and it's not been a good one either. And people are like, I would rather feel safe as a mother, not a mom, as a mother, as whatever, at staying home, not being in the way, not having the stress. Because I remember when I used to work from home for someone else, that shit was stressful.
Mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
don't have any kids. That shit was stressful. Anytime my phone would go off, I would jump.
Yes. Right. And so that's a stress. Like, so, with SoulMed, we're always talking about ways that we can relieve stress. Like our Be Healthy survey consistently
Mm-hmm.
shows that stress is the number one health concern for Black women. And
Right.
it's because we take on so much, we have so much on our plate. We
Mm-hmm.
are naturally nurturers and providers
Yes.
of that emotional support to other people, of that love and encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
And in many cases, we are the breadwinners of our households. And
Mm-hmm.
so that does become overwhelming and very stressful
It
when you
does.
can't share that responsibility. And then, like you said, to add to that, other lives that are depending on you. So as you think about that and bills and, whatever your
It's a
situation is
lot.
during the pandemic, like, across the board, I've seen things from people getting laid off to furloughed to, their hours being reduced. So you start thinking about what does that look like in terms of my money. And so for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, it was always having more than one job. And so when the pandemic hit, it wasn't anymore several streams of income, and my lifestyle was based on those streams of income, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because I didn't have that, my like money just started looking real crazy, and I was like, and I'm a single mom with a child in school, so it's tuition, so I had even more financial responsibilities. So I did what you talked about. I leveled up and started to think about how to transition, so the health my health
Mm-hmm.
coaching school into a full-time business. And so SoulMed was born during the pandemic. But
Yep.
again, everybody doesn't want to do that. So what does that look like? I
Mm-hmm.
loved what you said about, one, we can be an entrepreneur and really put our time into building that business. But two, there is also an opportunity for you to level up at work, for you to start thinking about, is this job really the job for me? And how do I get to,
Mm-hmm.
if I do like what I'm doing, how do I add value so that I can reach that $10,000 promotion or whatever that looks
And
like?
then there's a lot of programs now that are free. I just got out of. I know a lot of people get raised at the the Cornell program that was in partnership with Bank of America. That was free, but that's a whole wait list until next year. But Google has been offering free certificates and things of that nature. EDX have been offering free certificates. It's free certificates that you can take and utilize that matches what you want to do. Now that you see that this ain't it, Chief, that you want to do for free, that you can do while you home.
Mm. So now we're taking advantage of free programs as
Yeah,
well.
it's a
So
lot of free programs.
yeah, take advantage of free certificate programs that'll give us the skills that we need to level up in our career if that's something that we like to do.
Right.
You know what? These are simple things that everybody is kind of there, but you just don't think about, right?
Because this whole situation, and I was talking to somebody earlier, is saying that no matter the industry, no matter who you are, Rona has really reset a lot of these industries and reset a lot of the ways that we have done things in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Things have
So
been there
yeah,
for our taking, but now we're looking like, let me go do this instead.
right.
While it has been a pain, it has been powerful for a lot of people. This pandemic has.
Yeah, and change isn't always bad. So the
It's
one
not.
thing that, and I think another thing that's really important is for us to control our mind during this time. So
Mm-hmm.
change the narrative in our mind. Things may, on the surface look a little crazy, but to your point, there's so much change happening. There's an opportunity for you in that change,
It's like
right?
an
And so you
opportunity
just have to figure
tax.
out what that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get into, I want to talk a little bit about the split stock. So I think you and I talked a lot, like we gone back and forth on text about Robinhood and,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm using, I can't remember. It's not Robinhood. It's another one,
What's it
but
start with?
huh?
What's it start with?
Hold on, Stash.
Stash.
So,
Yeah, I have Stash. So I pride myself in, if I tell you about something, 10 times out of 10, I have it.
okay.
Because when I tell people stuff, I want them to be able to trust what I say and how I say it. And I'm not just gonna be one of the people that fluff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if I tell you, oh, Stash is good, if I tell you Robinhood is good, I have a whole blog post that narrows down all of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Put it in the chat. Put the link in the chat
All
so
right.
people can go to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just joining in, we're here with uh the Nadia Vanderhall of Bands and Brands. And let me tell you something. Like, if you are someone that it gets nervous about money like me, Nadia is amazing at breaking things down so that it's easy for everyone to understand. And we've talked tonight about how to level up during the pandemic. And now we're about to talk about split stocks. And so she's going to share a link, and I'll share it. I'll share it on Facebook with you guys, that is about split stocks and what that really is and what it means. But we're going to talk about it. And so we shared, there's several different companies, and she's going to talk about the ones that she has experience with. So I'm gonna stop talking and let you do your thing.
You want me to drop it here or on Facebook?
You can drop it on Facebook. That's fine.
Okay. Uh-oh. That's getting really interesting. But I think what people have been really caught up in the whole thing when, I hope I don't look weird because I'm actually doing this, and I'll drop it after I finish all
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So it's a lot of apps out there. If you talked about Stash, Stash is really good. Interestingly enough, Stash is one of the ones that have established the whole cash management situation. You can save on Stash. You can invest on Stash. You can even stay for your retirement as well as buy a life insurance policy on Stash.
And they give you a bank account. Like, you can do a bank account through Stash, because I have one.
I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of these investment apps, especially third party, well, most of them are third party, they are actually slowly trying to generate into a cash management system. I just told someone this earlier. The reason why.
Talk to us about what that is. Like, explain cash management system. I'm not sure everyone is.
The big banks.
Oh, okay.
You want a checking account, you want a savings account, you want to do this. You know how Cash App, everybody was swiping whatever with Cash App, sending money. You have a routing number and a bank account number with your Cash App account. You have one with certain platforms have it now. And the reason why is because people don't trust the big banks no more.
Right. That's interesting. So now I can put my money into one of these online investment platforms and also do some of these other things, like buy life insurance or
save.
Or save, get a savings account, invest. So let's talk about the investment portion of it.
Right. With investing, and you want to talk about stock splits, but this is another thing that I've been pushing in people's face, is fractional shares. Fractional shares is where, and Stash is actually slowly starting to move. The big two that have been doing it is Stockpile and Robinhood. And interesting enough, Charles Schwab has moved over to offering fractional shares and E-Trade. Fractional shares is like, if I want to buy, who is somebody I just, just say Amazon is easier. I don't have $3,000 to buy Amazon today. I got to pay my bills. I don't have $3,000, but you got $25.
But I think that's actually what I meant, like fractional shares. So maybe I was saying the wrong thing.
I'm gonna talk about that too. I'm gonna talk about both of them. But fractional shares allows you to start investing no matter how much money you have in your budget. It allows, because a lot of people used to think that investing was for the affluent, but now it's for the affordable. Fractional shares kind of start off as a long distance cousin to mutual funds, meaning when you buy something, you buy little pieces of a company. But now with fractional shares, you're able to do so within these platforms. So if you don't have it right now, you won't have 3,000. Or how I love to tell people with kids, your kids watch Disney Plus, your kids watch Marvel movies and all that. Disney stock is $100 and some. You don't have the whole $100 and some right now. You can break it out into $25 increments and then eventually buy it. And one of the stocks that I have now, or that I have a full share of now, I started off buying it in increments to now I have the full stock, full share.
So basically you go on the app, you kind of set what you're going to invest and where, and then it puts the money there. And as you add money to it, you start to build toward owning a full share. Okay. So honestly, I just did it because you told me to. I really didn't know what I was doing. But I've like now diversified. I have several different, like I have Walmart, Nike.
And one of the things people always ask me, what should I buy? What you buy every day. Start with what you know. Don't start going to get these companies that you don't know shit about. And then you get mad if they lose some money. But you know that you go to Target every day. I do. You go to Target all the time. That little red card swipe back and forth. You spend money there. Target is up over $100 a share now. You spend $100 in Target without blinking. And I love to say consume what you consume. Meaning you're a consumer, you're buying stock of what I consume every day. So if you know, I was talking about who's up for earnings. Procter & Gamble is up for earnings. Meaning you said how they did for that quarter. You use Procter & Gamble all the time and you don't know it. So if you go to Target, like you were saying with Walmart, you go to Walmart all the time, spend $100 so easy. Black Friday is coming up. All these things are coming up. You consume anyway. And how I love to say it is like, if I go, it's like I'm paying myself.
Right.
Because you have that, you own that company. You walking in there like you own it because you do.
Right.
A small portion.
Right.
So that's why I love to tell people, you take an audit of where do you spend your money at the most. When you pull on your budget, your bank accounts to make your budget, I spend money at Target. I spend money at Sephora. I spend money at these certain things. And ladies, I know y'all love Sephora, but do you know that Sephora is owned by Louis Vuitton and Hennessy? We love that. So you buy that. Because but the only thing is though, and I love to say is like, you buy that, you know that, but research before you buy things. How has the company been performing? I know Target been up and stuff.
Right. So how do we do that? So where do we go to research? How do we know what it looks like? How do we notice if they're performing well? And how long should we be looking at the performance? Should we look at the last 90 days, the last 6 months?
I will look at the last 6 months to 12 months, 6 to 12 months. Especially right now, because this whole Rona is not being kind to companies. We saw where who just went bankrupt?
Girl,
too many daggone people just went bankrupt. Oh, Ruby Tuesday just went bankrupt. Yeah. I don't know why I've been keeping up with that lately, but you look at to see how is the company operating thoroughly. Have they been staying thorough and consistent through this whole pandemic? A, do they have a lot of debt? Because
how do you find out about if they have debt?
You can go and look on the company and then look at their investors relations thing, or you can Google, let's just say, I'm just going to keep it AMC prospectus. A prospectus is kind of like their report card. Okay. And you can go back to look at 60 days, 90 days, and even if you look on the apps that you have, it gives you everything there too.
So you know what? I think we may come back and do a review of like how to read a prospectus, how to really set yourself up to do that research, because I think that's the part that gets intimidating, right? I've kind of followed the general rule that you gave: consume what you can consume, so I'm a purchase stock of the things that I consume. So I know, like, people are gonna always need toilet paper, people are gonna always need toothpaste.
They gonna fight
Right. And
over.
go fight over it. Girl, Rona had us fighting over toothpaste, like just staples. So yeah, so for us to be able to learn more about that, like this is so exciting. And I know that if I get back into it, it's gonna be like so exciting to be able to kind of figure out how to move forward. So we got Michael on here talking about, this is good stuff. Like they're really enjoying us and sharing, what we have, sharing what we're sharing. So I want to, because we're nearing 8 o'clock, so I definitely want to get to the split stocks, the difference, because I was talking all crazy. So tell us the difference between fractional and split stocks and what that all means for us.
Well, I know everybody was up in arms a couple months ago when Apple said they were declaring a split. And also when Tesla said they were declaring a 5-1 split. So for every one share you had, you eventually you come up to 5. So with Apple, you had a 4-1 split. For every one share you had, it came up to 4. I think I had it right. Yeah, that's right. It's been a long day. But so if you were to say then Apple was $496 and some change, only reason why I know I created the creative, it went from one share being worth that 400 and some dollars down to, I think it just hit what, $115. The only, a lot of people saying, what's the difference? The only difference is the amount of shares that you had. So if you were able to put forth enough money to get one, you end up having multiple ones. Why is that important? Apple is known as the aristocrat of paying out dividends. And honestly, this is not Apple's first stock split. So meaning it has gotten up before and have gone down to being like $100 and some dollars, and it went up to that $400. A lot of the times companies do this because they want to go ahead and generate some kind of cash reserve. So either A, they can say they're behind, B, they can invest in other things. What did Apple just come out with?
New phones,
new infrastructure, and other things that I'm sure that they're coming out down the line. They needed that capital to make sure that they're not going to.
So tell me what that looks like for me. If I spend $400 and I'm getting 4 shares instead of 1.
Yeah, you brought 1 share, and then if you had it before that specific date, it just that you had 4 shares. But you still can buy Apple right now for hundreds of dollars. It's still, like I was telling people, the only reason that I would say if you had it, grab it. If you didn't, still get in on it at the $100 a share, $118, not $15 a share, or fractional it.
So how do you get paid dividends with fractional shares?
You still do. Is your dividend, whatever they declare a dividend for that quarter or whatever that time is, based upon how many shares that you have.
So what if I only have half a share? So I get half of it?
You get half of whatever that is.
Okay.
And the more that you have within that company, the more that you see within it. But another thing to say, a lot of people get hung up on dividends. Capital gains is still your friend. Capital gains is that if I brought a stock and it was $10, 20 years down the line and it's worth $1,000, that's how much gain that you've seen over that time.
And so how do I access that money though?
You'll be seeing in the value of what your stock is worth. So if you had that stock, you had it in your portfolio, you look, it'll say how much it's worth. So say for instance, if you wanted, Amazon is one of the few that are not paying out any dividends right now. But if you were, I think Amazon started off with what, $30 a share? And it's worth $3,000 a share? You sat on that. And that was one guy that I shared on about Apple, and he had enough worth to pay him a couple $100,000 worth of dividends, and he unloaded everything to go invest somewhere else. I would have never told him to unload Apple. I'm getting it to A's mixed up. I would have never told him to do that. He's sick about it, but he's still rich from what I gathered how he's taught. But yeah, so that's what a lot of people, I've been really talking about earnings, meaning learning how these companies operate, learning and watching, because I think Tesla, they actually are starting to clear profit. And it's like, oh, it's not a profitable company, but the capital gains that if you would invest in Tesla back in the day when it went public compared to what it got up to before it split, capital gains is still the same.
Right.
I would love if I can get capital gains and dividends. That's the key. That's the code.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the splits, that's all it was, is the amount that you get. But if you still, like I said, if you were able to get in before, great. If not, you still can
Still get
still
it.
benefit
Yeah.
because they're still gonna pay dividends.
They still
Apple's
get
not stopping their dividends.
yeah.
And then
Awesome.
everybody wants Amazon to split. Amazon is not split. Jeff is too greedy. He ain't split. It's
He ain't
not.
splitting. He
He ain't
ain't giving up. He ain't giving us all that money.
split.
He's
He don't
not
want to
gonna
go
do
back.
it. All right. So this has been very informative. Let me tell you what's gonna happen next. So, we're going to tomorrow, or it may actually be Sunday. We're starting this new thing, Soulful Sundays.
Okay.
So Soulful Sundays, we send out an email and recap of our soul sessions for the week. And so in that email, we'll share a lot of what we'll share the replay from tonight, as well as a lot of your tips. And so people will get an opportunity to, like, and honey, I got a lot of quotables. So when you saw me looking down and tack, I'm over here taking notes, because Nadia Vanderhall got all the quotables. Google and God are your best friends.
They are.
Listen, let me see. Investing used to be for the affluent, now it's for the affordable. So what does that really mean? What does that look like? Being able to take advantage of that, looking at all of the things you shared with us about how we manage during COVID and manage our finances and our relationship with our creditors. Like, that's extremely important so that we'll know how to move forward. And then how do I level up? How do I get my money right in terms of thinking about the pandemic in a positive? So changing the narrative. So I'm not saying, oh God, Rona Mae Jenkins done did a number on me, but you saying, you know what, my girl Rona slowed things down a little bit so I could get ahead.
Listen, Rona helped me a lot, and I wanted
Girl.
to add this in too. A lot of people who have businesses, and Rona came in and ramshacked how you did business. Pivot is your friend. Reach out to your audience to see what they want. I said this on a live a couple last week. If you have not emailed them in a while, just tiptoe into them. And then, just like I said, if you're used to, oh, I'm being outside, oh, I'm able to find me here, start building that other presence so you can connect with them further. Black Friday is coming up. Don't wait till the week before Black Friday to start communicating with your audience.
Right. Get you a Black Friday strategy.
If
So
they
if
need help with that,
yeah.
I can help you.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about um brands and bands. Let's talk about what you do. Tell them a little bit about what you do and what you can help with.
Well, I started Bands and Brands as seeing when I worked in corporate, working in marketing, seeing how they operate business, how they market and stuff to consumers. They have the big budgets, but I wanted to able to take and funnel down to show small business owners, especially that look like me, you can market the same way as the big boys. You can create content and things like that. And then, as I talked about earlier at the top of this, that I started learning about money when I didn't have any. Granted, my mom taught me about spending and budgeting, and my dad taught me about investing. It didn't click till I didn't have shit. And what I offer is consultations as well as coaching within marketing and money. So if you're a business owner, you're trying to get your business together, or you're trying to scale it even deeper, especially with this time, I can help you build content as well as your overall rebrand. Now, on the money side, I can help you from investing to creating your budget to credit and things of that nature. Even something that I've been offering under the radar is for people with kids that want to start implementing that legacy building.
What does that talk about like? That. What does that look like? Because I got two.
You got two. One of them is over 18. Are they right? Yeah. But what you can do is start opening them up an account, such as an IRA, such as an IRA, or even their own little brokerage account for them to start saving, and then for them to start stocking or investing. Because that's how I learned, was because my dad used to always say, what is that theory he used to say? I'm putting cans away for your college education. I ain't seen not 1 cent yet, but it was the principle of what he showcased during that, which made me see why I need to start saving, especially now in life. So when it comes to generational gains, are you set up with a plan if you were, whenever you do the transition? Do you have life insurance? GoFundMe is not life insurance, people. And life insurance does not cost a lot.
Yeah, GoFundMe is not life insurance. That's another quotable.
GoFundMe is not life insurance. Are you creating sustainable businesses that can be passed down. So like you have with your SoulMed, I know you can pass it down to your daughter. If you're building the systems, you already have a revenue build out, you have product, you have all kind of things that you can streamline and systematically build that business that can be passed on to your children. If they're under 18, do you have a 529? Do you have an IRA? Do you have any kind of investing for them? And another component, are you teaching them about money?
Are you teaching them about money? Absolutely. I don't think we have we don't often have those conversations in Black households because we are on survival mode, right?
That's
We
the thing. And even
yeah,
in survival mode, you can still show your kids what, well, you know, if I would have did this, if I could have had this, and then show what you could have done better.
right.
It's not, I don't, the whole money taboo is making people ashamed of. That's what I was going to be talking about on my live tomorrow. Is the whole imposter syndrome is a popular topic, but a lot of people don't want. They're utilizing their doubts to cloud them to even see that they actually can achieve things.
Right. Awesome.
And that's been something that has been systematically passed down through our ancestors.
Listen, that's the absolute truth. Girl, what time is tomorrow?
8.
8
No,
o'clock.
7:30.
7:30
I did it early because I got to watch the debate. I got to watch the debate.
Yeah. Where we catch that at?
On my business page on the Brands and Bands on that.
Yeah, so we're gonna drop that down so people can. Is there a Facebook Live link or something?
No, I'll send it to you.
Yes, because we are definitely going to promote that, and I'm tuning in. Yes, ma'am, because that's extremely important for us to kind of break some of those generational curses, some of the things that are embedded in us that we don't even know. Like, so for me, from a SoulMed perspective, that's what I think holds us back. The things, the unconscious, the subconscious things that are playing in our minds. So I've told myself I'm not good at budgeting, or I'm not good at investing, or I'm intimidated by numbers. And so there goes that.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Robbing Peter to say Paul.
So
yeah.
That's one, and it's one thing that I call that whole aspect of mind your money, where it comes to your mindset and how it's been implanted there, and how it goes to the affirmations of what you say, your actions, and your alignment to when it comes to wealth. Like you said, it's been passed down. You utilizing it, and it's gonna be passed down again.
Yep. So we're being asked in the chat for you to share your social media accounts and where they can find you.
I am on Instagram at the letter N, the letter V, knows, KNOWS. I had to think about it. It's hot in here today. So this weather,
it went from cold to hot to I don't know.
I just don't have time for work. Or you could just search the Brands and Bands and all of that will come up. I have to get my IP. I have to collect all my business collateral. I can't. Also, if you have a business,
the Bands and Brands.
If you have a business, even if you're not utilizing social media, go snatch your social media profiles. Go check to make sure that they're not trademarked by somebody else. I've seen it. It's a lot of that happening right now.
Yeah,
people start businesses and don't do the research to see if there's nobody else there with that same name. So
yeah, you got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got 4 minutes. Anything you want to say before we get off?
Give yourself grace. And I typed that out to somebody today. The reason why is because this pandemic again has been a pain in our asses, and it has been a pivot for a lot of us. If some of it's pivoting up, pivoting down, but give yourself grace. If things feel like it's becoming too much when it comes to your finances, or when it comes to how you function in your brain, give yourself grace. You're doing the best that you can do at this time. Do what you can. You can still do less, and it can be more than what you can do under all of that cloud.
Yes, lots of wisdom. Thank you. We somebody said we need a session on trademarking and copyrights. So yeah, like as you were talking, I'm like, yo, Nadia, we got to talk about this. Oh my God. Like
opening my mouth a lot. And that's honestly, Paul, that's how I got a lot of the promotions I did corporately, because I asked a lot of questions. I researched, and a lot of us are saying, oh, I want to research that. if it don't come out in your favor, take it and shift with it. But
Yeah.
when it comes to certain things, I used to always ask too many questions, and as a child, and it still goes on. So,
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with asking a lot of questions. I so appreciate you, Sora, for all that you do and all that you are. And thank you again for being patient with me. Like, I'm working, like we talked about. So I didn't have no jobs, and now I got like 12.
see, pandemic where?
Right.
You
And
got
I'm
pandemic.
telling you, this
You
pandemic.
be nice right now. You went from pandemic made him pay pandemic paper, so you're fine.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm still working on getting to profitable, but I'm definitely in a better space. Like,
The scale is in the
mentally,
start.
emotionally.
The scale
Yeah.
is in the start, and a lot of people want to get to this, but the scale is in the start. You have to start.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's another quotable, And so when you said earlier, done is better than perfect, I was like, yes. Like, and so I woke up one morning feeling a little down, and I hit Facebook and I said, do not despise small beginnings, because in that moment, I had to remind myself that it's you right on a cusp of something good. All you got to do is keep walking. Like you said, give yourself grace, keep walking in the
Amazon
light.
started in a small room and started as a bookstore. That's all I gotta say. Everybody started small.
Mm. Yeah, we just need to learn. I think as a people, we just need to learn how to scale what it looks like. And so I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna say goodbye. There was working with a contractor, and they're like really pressed for money. It's two Black females, and I was just like, well, terms are 15, net 15, and honestly, that's extremely good when you're talking about doing business with a large corporation, because they generally are net 30, 60. And so for you to say, it's net 15, you're like, okay, that's good. And so she can't wait the 15 days. And so she's pressing hard about getting this money. And I'm like, yo, we got to learn that we got to be able to float. So that's why I work a full time and have all the other things. So like you said, you got to be able to know that you gotta, what it takes, the cost of your business. What does it cost to run your business? How are you going to achieve that cost? Where are you getting that money from to run that business
A lot of
until
people
it
get
becomes
those
profitable?
systems and platforms that cost $300 and $400 and $500 a month. Are you bringing in $300, $400 and $500 a month? And if not, you need to learn how to do that thing via Google, piece of paper, or whatever, until you can able to bring in that enough money to cover that system that you do need. Why is that important? You're able to figure out and pinpoint, this is how I need things to run, so I can find the right platform that works for my profit market.
Right.
Don't just go think you got to get the whole suit and bolts and everything. Just start.
Oh, Jesus. So that was another thing you just said. So teaching people how to scale, you could do a whole class on the cost of business, what that looks like, and how I determine the cost of my product or service based on what my business costs. Girl, we Nadia coming back, y'all. Nadia coming back. Yes.
I'm able to say that because that's how I do it. And I try to lean my business as much as possible. Why? I like my bank account to have a certain amount of money.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so we gonna talk because we coming back. I so appreciate you. We'll be in touch. Make sure that in the chat, even if it's over, you put in the blog post and also about your upcoming your webinar tomorrow, so we can pay attention to that. And I'll get in touch with you so we can get all of the content ready for Soulful Sunday.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank y'all. I appreciate you working through. I don't know how you got the wrong link, but I'm so happy that we finally got a chance to talk.
That's all right.
All right. Talk to you soon. Girl, But you can't stop a good thing, and you can't stop two deltas that's gonna make it happen.
Oh, honey, no.
Never. That's and I love you, Jamila. That's my cousin who's watching. She's an AKA.
We sorry.
We sorry. Bye, Nadia. Thank you.
Thank you.